The large meeting room was silent except for the soft hum of air filters. Admiral Kim Jun stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the massive screen that showed planet Earth. The once blue planet now had strange purple patches spreading across its oceans. The sight made his jaw tighten. "They are killing our home," he said. His voice was quiet but filled with anger. Park Han nodded beside him. He had been Kim's friend and second in command for 20 years. The consortium said it was just improving the oceans for better mining. Improving? Kim turned to face the 12 men and women who made up Earth's secret military council. "They are changing our planet without asking us. They will force billions of people to move. This is not improvement. This is the final insult." Everyone in the room knew what Kim meant. For 100 years, humans had lived under the control of the Galactic Consortium. The aliens had arrived in 2089, bringing advanced technology and promises of friendship. But those promises quickly changed to rules and limits. "You are a developing species," the aliens had said. "You need guidance. You need rules." The rules were simple and harsh. Humans could not build ships that traveled faster than light. Humans could not create certain types of weapons. Humans could not join the consortium as equals. Humans could only serve. Kim walked to the center of the room where a small table held a simple red button. "For 50 years we have worked in secret," he said. "While we smiled at our masters and obeyed their rules in public, we built our strength in private. Today, we show the galaxy that humans will no longer accept being treated as children." Li Hyun, the communication officer, spoke up. "Admiral, the consortium ambassador Trellick is requesting to speak with Earth's council again. He says the ocean changes are necessary and cannot be stopped." Kim's face showed no emotion. "Put him through. Let him see what happens next." The main screen changed to show the face of Trellick. The alien had blue skin that seemed to shimmer with tiny scales. His 4 eyes blinked at different times, giving humans who spoke with him a feeling of unease. "Admiral, Kim," Trellick said with fake warmth. "I was hoping to speak with the full Earth Council." "They are busy dealing with your ocean pollution project," Kim answered coolly. "I will speak for Earth today." Trellick's upper eyes narrowed. "It is not pollution, Admiral. The chemical changes will make your oceans more productive for resource extraction. This will benefit everyone, including humans." "And the 3 billion people who live near those oceans? What benefits do they receive when their homes are underwater or poisoned?" The alien made a gesture that humans had learned was similar to a shrug. "Progress requires sacrifice. The consortium has decided this change is necessary. Developing species must accept the wisdom of more advanced civilizations." Kim looked at Park. Both men had heard this same speech many times over the years. The consortium always knew best. Humans always needed to obey. Progress always required human sacrifice, never alien sacrifice. "I have something to show you, Ambassador Trellick," Kim said. He placed his hand on the red button. "For too long, you have called us a developing species. I think it's time we showed you just how much we have developed." Without waiting for a response, Kim pressed the button. Across the solar system, hidden shipyards powered up. Inside the asteroid belt, massive doors opened in what had appeared to be ordinary space rocks. Beneath the surface of Mars, underground hangars activated launch sequences. From the dark side of the moon, row after row of ships rose silently. Trellick's 4 eyes widened as alerts began sounding off screen. "What is happening? What have you done?" Kim allowed himself a small smile. "We are declaring our independence, Ambassador. Nothing more." On the secondary screens around the room, the Council watched as their secret fleet revealed itself. 900,000 warships, built over 50 years in absolute secrecy. Each ship was a marvel of engineering, combining stolen consortium technology with human innovation. Trellick was receiving the same images now. The alien's blue skin had paled to a sickly color. "This is impossible. Your species does not have the technology or resources to build such a fleet. This violates every restriction placed on Earth." "Yes," Kim agreed. "It does. The ships were forming into attack formations. Not a single weapon had been fired, but the message was clear. After a century of subjugation, humanity was showing its teeth. Choi Min, the fleet commander, appeared on a side screen. "All ships reporting ready, Admiral. Formation is complete, awaiting your orders." Kim nodded. "Begin Phase 1. Trellick was frantically speaking to someone off-screen. When he turned back to Kim, his voice had lost its usual condescending tone. "Admiral, the consortium is willing to discuss new terms with Earth. Perhaps some of the restrictions can be eased. There is no need for military action. We passed the time for discussion 3 days ago when you decided to poison our oceans without our consent," Kim replied. "But do not worry, Ambassador. We are not planning to attack." Kim nodded to Lee Hyun, who pressed several commands into her console. "Broadcasting the message to all consortium worlds now, Admiral. Across thousands of star systems on every planet, controlled by the consortium, communication channels were suddenly filled with images of the human fleet. Following the images was a simple message translated into all major galactic languages. For 100 years we have been patient. We have been obedient. We have been developing. Today we show you what we have developed. Earth is now a sovereign power. The restrictions placed upon us are no longer recognized. We seek peace with all species, but we will no longer accept domination." In the council room, Kim watched as Trellick received frantic messages from the consortium leadership. "This is madness," the alien said. "The consortium will not be threatened by a developing species. Our military forces will respond to this provocation." Park Han stepped forward. "Your nearest military fleet is 3 months from Earth at maximum speed. By then, our ships will be spread throughout your territory. We have agents on 17 of your core worlds. We have studied your defenses for decades." For the first time, Kim saw something new in the alien ambassador's eyes. "Fear. What do you want?" Trellick asked quietly. Kim straightened his uniform. "We want what every intelligent species deserves. Respect, equality, freedom. The ocean modification project will end immediately. A new treaty will be negotiated, one between equals, and Earth will take its rightful place in galactic politics." The ambassador began to argue. Kim gave a signal to Lee. The communication ended. "Orders to the fleet, Admiral?" Choi asked from the screen. "Advance beyond Neptune's orbit," Kim commanded. "Begin the journey to the consortium homeworld. Do not engage unless attacked. Let them see our strength and discipline." As the massive fleet began to move with perfect coordination, the council room filled with applause. After a century of hiding in the shadows, humanity was stepping into the light, and the galaxy for once was silent out of fear. Lee Hyun had worked at the consortium monitoring station on Europa for 15 years. Every day he pretended to be a loyal human servant to the alien masters. Every night, he sent secret messages to Admiral Kim and the Resistance. Today, all of that would change. The monitoring station was built into Europa's icy surface. Through large windows, Lee could see Jupiter hanging in the black sky. The view was beautiful, but Lee barely noticed it anymore. He was watching the alien technicians instead. "Something is wrong with the energy sensors," said the station chief, a tall insect-like alien named Vril. His forearms moved quickly over the control panels while his mandibles clicked in confusion. "They are showing impossible readings." Lee walked over slowly, keeping his face calm even though his heart was racing. "What kind of readings, Chief Vril?" "Energy spikes across the asteroid belt, on Mars, on Luna. Hundreds of thousands of them, all starting at the same time." Vril's compound eyes reflected the red warning lights that had begun to flash. The sensors must be malfunctioning. Lee knew the sensors were working perfectly. The human fleet was powering up exactly as planned. After 50 years of secret building, the ships were finally revealing themselves. "Perhaps I should check the backup systems," Lee suggested. "It could be a simple error." Vril nodded, still focused on the readings. "Yes, do that. This cannot be real. The energy required would be..." The alien's voice trailed off as the visual feeds began showing the first ships. They emerged from hidden bases in the asteroid belt, rising from beneath the red soil of Mars, appearing from the dark side of the moon. Each one was sleek and powerful, built with a combination of stolen consortium technology and human innovation. "Those are warships," Vril whispered. His mandibles stopped clicking. "Human warships." Lee stepped back toward the communication station. This was the moment he had been waiting for. "I should alert the consortium headquarters," he said calmly. Vril was too shocked to notice what Lee was really doing. Instead of sending a warning to the consortium, Lee activated the hidden program in the station's systems. All across the monitoring station, screens changed to show Admiral Kim's face. "People of Earth and citizens of the consortium," Kim's voice filled the station. "For 100 years, humanity has lived under the control of the Galactic Consortium. We have been called a developing species, unworthy of equal status in galactic society. Today that changes." Vril turned to Lee, his alien features showing confusion and the beginning of fear. "What is happening, Hyun?" Lee stepped away from his console and stood straight for the first time in 15 years. He no longer needed to appear humble or submissive. "We are happening, Chief Vril. Humanity is happening." On the screens, the camera pulled back to show the massive human fleet forming into perfect attack formations. 900,000 ships, each one armed with weapons that the consortium had forbidden humans to build. "For 50 years, we have prepared," Kim continued. "While obeying your rules in public, we built our strength in secret. Today we declare that Earth is a sovereign power. The restrictions placed upon us are no longer recognized." Vril's legs seemed to weaken, and he grabbed the console for support. "This is impossible. Your species could not hide such a project from us." Lee allowed himself to smile. "Yet we did. Your greatest mistake was thinking that humans would accept being treated as lesser beings forever. Your second greatest mistake was putting humans like me in positions where we could feed you false information for years." The other aliens in the station were panicking now. Some were trying to contact the consortium fleet. Others were rushing to the escape pods. They had always known that humans were unhappy with their status, but no one had imagined this level of secret resistance. "The nearest consortium battle fleet is 3 months away at their top speed," Lee told Vril. "By then our ships will be spread throughout your territory. We have agents on 17 of your core worlds. We have studied your defenses for decades." Across the galaxy, on those 17 different worlds, human sleeper agents were activating communication relays at the same time. Each one broadcast the same message: footage of the human armada followed by Earth's coordinates in a single phrase in the consortium's mathematical language. "We are no longer developing. We have developed." In his office on the flagship Vengeance, Admiral Kim watched the reactions pouring in from across the galaxy. The consortium leadership was in chaos. Some called for immediate military response. Others urged caution. A few even suggested opening real negotiations with Earth for the first time. Park Han entered the office with the latest reports. "The Zillions have withdrawn their border patrols," he said. "They fear we might attack their worlds next." Kim nodded. "And the smaller races?" "The Gel and the Trovis have already reached out with messages of support. They have lived under consortium, rule even longer than humans. They see this as an opportunity for their own freedom." Kim looked at the strategic display showing the positions of all known consortium military forces. "Are there any threats to our fleet?" Park shook his head. "Nothing within striking distance. The consortium is scrambling to recall their ships, but they are spread too thin across too many systems. They never expected to need a large defensive force in our solar system, because they never truly respected our potential," Kim said. "Order Choi Min to begin the advance. Tell her to take the first wave beyond Neptune's orbit. It is time to begin our journey." In the command center of the first wave, Commander Choi Min received the orders. She was younger than Kim and Park, born after first contact with the consortium. She had never known a time when humans were truly free. Until now. "All ships, prepare for acceleration," she ordered. "Formation Delta. We move beyond Neptune's orbit and prepare for the long journey to consortium space." The ships moved with perfect coordination, each one knowing its place in the complex formation. The first wave consisted of 200,000 vessels ranging from small, fast attack ships to massive carriers and dreadnoughts. Back on the Europa monitoring station, Li Hyun watched as the first wave of ships accelerated away from Earth. His part in the plan was complete. He had spent 15 years pretending to be a loyal servant while secretly undermining the consortium. Now he could finally be himself again. "What will you do with us?" Vril asked quietly. The station chief seemed to have aged in the past hour, his once proud posture now bent and uncertain. Li looked at the alien who had been his superior for so long. "Nothing," he said. "You and your staff will be transported back to consortium space unharmed. We are not conquerors or killers. We just want to be treated as equals." Vril's compound eyes studied Li's face. "You planned this for 50 years? Such patience is frightening." Li nodded. "That is why the galaxy is silent now, Chief Vril. Not because we have built warships, but because we have shown what humans are truly capable of when pushed too far. The consortium has ruled through fear for too long. Now they are learning what it means to be afraid." As the human fleet moved beyond Neptune, the silence across the galaxy grew deeper. The message was spreading from world to world, system to system. After a century of subjugation, humanity had revealed its strength, and without firing a single shot, they had changed the balance of power forever. 3 months had passed since the human fleet revealed itself to the galaxy. Now, deep in consortium space, Commander Yang Day stood on the bridge of his diplomatic vessel. Through the large viewing window, he could see the planet Nexus 7, a major trading hub for 5 different alien species. The planet's 3 moons glowed softly against the blackness of space. "They are hailing us again, Commander," said his communication officer. "The planetary governor requests an immediate meeting." Yang nodded. "Tell them I will arrive in 1 hour. The standard delegation will accompany me." Behind Yang's ship, 5,000 human warships hung in space. They made no threatening moves. They did not need to. Their presence alone was enough to make the message clear. Yang had once worked for the consortium as a minor translator. For 20 years, he had been forced to make human requests sound like humble pleas. Now he was returning to consortium space as an equal, backed by the most powerful fleet the galaxy had ever seen. 1 hour later, Yang and his team of 5 diplomats walked into the grand meeting hall of Nexus 7. The room was filled with representatives from the planet's ruling council. Some were tall and thin with pale skin. Others had multiple arms or eyes. All of them looked nervous. The planetary governor, a red-scaled being named Drex, stepped forward. "Commander Yang, we welcome you to Nexus 7. Yang bowed slightly. "Thank you for receiving us, Governor Drex. I bring a message from Earth." The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. For 3 months, human ships had been moving through consortium space, stopping at important worlds and delivering the same message. "We wish to hear Earth's message," Drex said, his voice steady despite his obvious fear. Yang stood tall as he spoke. "For 100 years, Earth has been classified as a developing world. Our technology has been restricted. Our people have been treated as lesser beings. Today we come to renegotiate Earth's status in the galaxy. We wish for peace, but we are prepared for alternatives." One of the council members, braver than the others, spoke up. "Your fleet violates every treaty the consortium has established. You build forbidden weapons, you threaten peaceful worlds." Yang turned to face the speaker. "We have fired no weapons, we have harmed no one. We simply revealed what we have built in secret while the consortium exploited our world and our people." "What does Earth want?" Governor Drex asked. "Equality," Yang replied simply. "Recognition as a sovereign power, a seat on the Galactic Council, fair trade agreements, and compensation for a century of resources taken from our world." The council members looked at each other. These were major demands that would change the balance of power in the galaxy. "We do not have the authority to agree to such terms," Drex said. "Only the High Council on Saris Prime can make these decisions." Yang smiled. "We know. This is why Our main fleet is already on its way there. We are simply informing all major worlds of our intentions as we pass through. A courtesy, you might say. As Yang and his team returned to their ship, the governor walked with them to the landing pad. Off the record, Drex said quietly, many of us have disagreed with how Earth has been treated. The consortium's policies toward developing worlds have always been harsh. Yang looked at the governor with interest. Yet you enforce these policies. We had no choice, Drex replied. The consortium does not tolerate dissent. But now, he looked up at the human ships visible in the sky. Now things may change. Back. On the flagship Vengeance, Admiral Kim received daily reports from his commanders across the fleet. The massive human armada had split into smaller groups, each visiting different sectors of consortium space. The Zillions have withdrawn their forces from 3 sectors, reported Captain Kang Su through a holographic communication. His image flickered slightly as he spoke. They are creating a buffer zone between their territory and our approach, Vector. Kim nodded. And the consortium? They have requested a formal diplomatic channel. They are offering to recognize Earth as a sovereign power. Kim allowed himself a small smile. Too late for that. Tell them we will discuss terms when we reach their homeworld. Park Han entered the Admiral's office with a data tablet. More reports from the outer systems. 3 smaller races have reached out to us directly. They want to form alliances with Earth. The galaxy is realigning, Kim said. Fear is a powerful motivator. Yunji, the head of intelligence, joined them. She had been monitoring galactic communications since the fleet launched. We are picking up interesting signals, she said. The consortium is trying to gather its military forces, but they are spread too thin across too many systems. Some of their ships are even refusing to respond to recall orders. Explain, Kim said, leaning forward. It seems several consortium captains believe we might attack their home systems if they leave, Yoon said. They are choosing to protect their own worlds rather than follow orders. Park looked surprised. The consortium has always maintained strict military discipline. Fear changes everything, Kim replied. For too long, the consortium has ruled through fear. Now they are experiencing it themselves. On the edge of consortium space, Commander Choi Min's first wave continued its steady advance. Her fleet of 200,000 ships moved in perfect formation, a testament to years of secret training and planning. In her private quarters, Choi reviewed the latest tactical updates. The screens showed the positions of all known consortium military vessels. Most were retreating before the human advance. Her second-in-command, Jun Hak, entered after knocking. Commander, we have an update from the 7th Scouting Group. They report a small consortium battle fleet ahead, 20 ships total. They appear to be holding position rather than retreating. Choi studied the new information. Are they preparing to attack? Unknown, Jun replied. They have made no aggressive moves yet. They may be testing our response. Choi thought for a moment. This was the first time they had encountered consortium ships that did not immediately withdraw. How she handled this situation would set the tone for future encounters. Send a message to their commander, she ordered. Inform them that we will maintain our current course. We have no hostile intentions, but we will not change our flight path. They may choose to remain or withdraw. Jun nodded and left to send the message. Choi turned back to the tactical display, watching the small cluster of consortium ships. For a century, humans had been forced to change course whenever the consortium demanded it. Those days were over. An hour later, Jun returned. The consortium ships have moved aside, Commander. They are allowing us to pass without confrontation. Choi nodded, satisfied, but not surprised. They are learning that we cannot be intimidated any longer. Send word to Admiral Kim. The path to Ceres Prime remains clear. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out as human ships moved deeper into consortium territory. At each world they passed, they delivered the same message. Earth was no longer a subject world. Earth was now a power to be reckoned with, and everywhere they went they were met not with resistance but with silent fear. The species that had dominated the galaxy for thousands of years was retreating before ships that had not fired a single shot. In his quarters on the Vengeance, Admiral Kim reviewed the latest reports with satisfaction. The plan was working perfectly. By the time they reached Ceres Prime, the consortium would have no choice but to accept Earth's terms. 100 years of patience, he said to himself, looking at the star map showing their progress. 100 years of planning, and not a single life lost. This was humanity's greatest victory. They had changed the galaxy without firing a shot. They had won through determination and patience, qualities the consortium had always underestimated. In humans. The journey to Ceres Prime continued, and the silence of fear followed them. The human fleet arrived at Ceres Prime after 5 months of traveling through consortium space. The planet was beautiful from orbit, with swirling green oceans and 3 small moons. It had been the center of galactic power for over 5,000 years. Admiral Kim stood on the bridge of the Vengeance looking down at the consortium homeworld. He had dreamed of this moment for decades. "Scan their defenses," he ordered. Park Han worked at his console for a moment, then looked up with surprise. "Admiral, their defense platforms are powered down. Their fleet has been withdrawn from orbit. They are completely exposed." Kim frowned. This was unexpected. "Are they surrendering?" "No," said Yoon-ji, monitoring communications. "They are simply not responding to our signals. No messages, no threats, no welcome, nothing." "The silent treatment," Park observed. "They think if they do not engage, we will eventually leave." Kim shook his head. "They still do not understand humans." For 3 days, the human fleet orbited Ceres Prime. 900,000 ships surrounded the planet in a display of power that had never been seen before in the galaxy. And for 3 days, the consortium remained silent. On the 4th day, Kim made his decision. "Prepare my personal shuttle. I will go to the surface with a small team." Park looked concerned. "Admiral, that could be dangerous. They might be planning a trap." "If they wanted to fight, they would have done so already," Kim replied. "They are trying a different tactic. They hope that by ignoring us, they can avoid dealing with us as equals. I will not allow that." Kim selected his team carefully. Park. Han as his second-in-command, Yoon-ji for her intelligence expertise, and Lee Hyun, who knew consortium customs better than anyone after his years as a double agent. Their shuttle descended through the atmosphere of Ceres Prime, landing at the massive structure known as the Hall of 17, where the consortium ruling council met. As they stepped out onto the landing pad, they were met with silence. No guard stopped them. No officials greeted them. "They really are committed to this approach," Yoon said as they walked toward the grand entrance. Lee Hyun nodded. "It is a traditional consortium tactic when dealing with lesser species who overstep their bounds. By refusing to acknowledge us, they believe they maintain their superior position." The human team walked through the empty hallways of the most powerful building in the galaxy. The walls were decorated with symbols representing the 17 founding species of the consortium. There was no symbol for humanity. Finally, they reached the Grand Council chamber, a vast dome where 17 alien representatives sat in a hierarchical arrangement. Humans had never been permitted in this room before. As Kim and his team entered, none of the council members looked at them. They continued their quiet discussions as if the humans were not there. Kim walked to the center of the room and waited. After 5 minutes of being ignored, he spoke. "I am Admiral Kim Jun of Earth. I represent humanity and our 900,000 ships currently orbiting your world. You can pretend we are not here, but that will not change reality." Slowly, the council members stopped talking. The Grand Arbiter, an ancient being of crystalline composition sitting at the highest position, finally turned to look at the humans. "Your demonstration of force is noted, humans," the Arbiter said, his voice deep and resonant. "What do you seek?" Kim stepped forward. "Nothing less than equality. The complete sovereignty of Earth and all human colonies, reparations for a century of exploitation, and a permanent seat on this council." A murmur ran through the alien representatives. These demands were unprecedented. Impossible, the Arbiter responded. You are still a young species. The galaxy would be destabilized. The galaxy is already destabilized, Kim replied. He gestured to Yunji, who activated a holographic display showing star maps. 9 species have already pledged allegiance to humanity since we began our journey. Your authority is crumbling. Another council member, a being with 6 eyes and green skin, leaned forward. Is this a conquest? Do you plan to replace the consortium with a human empire? No, Kim replied firmly. This is a revolution. We do not seek to rule as you have ruled. We seek to create a new galactic order based on mutual respect and cooperation. The Arbiter's crystalline form glittered as he considered Kim's words. And if we refuse your terms? Then we remain here, with our fleet surrounding your homeworld, until you reconsider, Kim said calmly. We have been patient for a century. We can be patient for much longer. For the first time, real fear showed in the Arbiter's glowing eyes. The consortium had always ruled through the threat of overwhelming force. Now they faced a species who had turned their own tactics against them. The Council will need time to discuss these demands, the Arbiter said finally. Kim nodded. You have 3 days. After that, we will begin negotiations with individual worlds directly, bypassing the consortium completely. As the human team left, the council chamber, Park spoke quietly to Kim. Do you think they will agree to our terms? They have no choice, Kim replied. Their power was built on fear and the appearance of superiority. We have shattered both. Now they must adapt or become irrelevant. Back on their shuttle, Li Hyun was monitoring consortium communications. Messages are flying between all 17 homeworlds, he reported. The council is in panic. Some want to fight, others want to surrender. They cannot agree. Kim smiled slightly. Division was inevitable. They have never faced a true challenge to their authority before. Over the next 3 days, the human fleet maintained its position around Saris Prime. On other worlds throughout consortium space, news of the confrontation spread quickly. Smaller races that had lived under consortium rule for centuries began to openly question their status. Some even declared independence. On the 3rd day, a message arrived from the council. They were ready to negotiate. When Kim and his team returned to the council chamber, the atmosphere had changed. The hierarchical seating had been rearranged. A new chair had been added to the circle. The Arbiter spoke formally. The consortium recognizes Earth as a sovereign power. We are prepared to discuss terms for reparations and a new galactic order. Kim took the seat that had been prepared for him. It was the first time in history that a human had sat as an equal among the rulers of the galaxy. Let us begin, he said. The negotiations lasted for 2 weeks. There were arguments and threats and compromises. But in the end, the Terran Accords were drafted. Earth would take its place as the 18th member of a reformed galactic council. Human technology would no longer be restricted. Reparations would be paid for resources taken from Earth, and most importantly, the principle that defined the new agreement was simple. All intelligent species were to be treated with equal respect and dignity. As Kim signed the document on behalf of humanity, he thought about how much had changed in just 6 months. Without firing a single shot, humans had forced the most powerful civilization in the galaxy to acknowledge them as equals. The revolution had succeeded not through violence, but through patience, determination, and the strategic use of fear, the same fear that the consortium had used to control others for thousands of years. As the human team prepared to return to their fleet, the Arbiter approached Kim privately. You have changed everything, the crystalline being said. The galaxy will never be the same. Kim nodded. That was always our intention. For too long, the strong have dominated the weak. It is time for something new. The Arbiter's form shimmered. But is that not what you have done as well? Dominated us through superior strength? The difference, Kim replied, is that we do not wish to rule over you. We only wish to ensure that no species will ever again be treated as lesser beings simply because they are different or younger As Kim walked away, he knew that the real work was just beginning. Changing the official status of humanity was only the first step. Changing the way different species thought about each other would take much longer. But humans were good at patience. They had proven that beyond any doubt. 1 year had passed since the human fleet revealed itself to the galaxy. On Earth, the morning sun shone brightly over Sol, where a massive new building rose from the city center. Unity Hall, they called it. Today, it would host the most important gathering in human history. Admiral Kim Jun stood at the window of his office, looking out at the city. Sol had changed in the past year. Aliens walked freely on its streets now. Ships from dozens of worlds moved through Earth's atmosphere, not as conquerors or restrictive overseers, but as visitors and traders. Park Han entered the office, wearing a formal uniform with new insignia showing Earth's status as a full member of the reformed Galactic Council. "The delegates have begun arriving, Admiral," Park said. "Representatives from 37 species will attend the signing ceremony." Kim nodded. "How many from the original consortium?" 15 of the 17 founding members, Park replied. "The Zalari and the Nox are still refusing to recognize the new order." "They will join eventually," Kim said. "They cannot stand alone in a changing galaxy." Kim left his office and walked through the halls of Unity Hall. Everywhere, humans and aliens worked together, preparing for the historic ceremony. 1 year ago, such cooperation would have been unimaginable. The main assembly room was enormous, with seats for 1,000 delegates. At the center stood a large round table where the Terran Accords would be signed. The document represented months of negotiation and compromise. It established a new galactic alliance based on equality, rather than domination. As Kim took his place at the table, he saw the alien delegates filing into the room. Some he recognized from the confrontation at Ceres Prime. Others were new faces, representatives of worlds that had been inspired by Earth's stand against the consortium. The Grand Arbiter, representing the former consortium leadership, approached Kim. The crystalline being seemed diminished somehow, less imposing than before. "Admiral Kim," the Arbiter said, "Earth has certainly changed since my last visit." "The whole galaxy has changed," Kim replied. "Indeed." The Arbiter's crystal body shimmered. "Some of my colleagues still believe this new order cannot last. They say different species cannot truly cooperate as equals." Kim smiled slightly. "They are wrong. Equality does not mean we are all the same. It means we all have the same right to determine our own future." The ceremony began with Kim addressing the delegates. He stood at the podium, looking out at the assembled representatives of galactic civilization. "For too long, the galaxy operated on principles of domination and subjugation," he said. "The strong ruled the weak. Advanced species controlled developing worlds. Today we establish a new order based on mutual respect and cooperation." Kim gestured to the document on the central table. "The Terran Accords establish that all intelligent species have the right to develop without interference. Trade will be conducted fairly. Knowledge will be shared openly. And conflicts will be resolved through negotiation rather than force." The delegates applauded. Many of the smaller, younger species seemed especially enthusiastic. For them, Earth's revolution had opened doors that had been closed for centuries. After the speech, the signing began. One by one, representatives approached the table. Each signature represented a commitment to the new galactic order. When all had signed, Kim officially declared the formation of the Galactic Alliance, replacing the old consortium. The room erupted in cheers and the strange sounds of alien approval. Later that evening, after most delegates had departed for a reception, Choi Min found Kim standing alone on a balcony overlooking the Seoul skyline. Choi had been promoted to Fleet Admiral and now oversaw the newly formed Galactic Defense Force, a multi-species military organization with humanity at its core. "Congratulations, Admiral," Choi said. "The alliance is officially established." Kim nodded, his eyes on the city below. "The easy part is done. Now comes the real challenge, making it work." "The human fleet has been strategically distributed throughout Alliance space," Choi reported. Our bases are established on key worlds. The former consortium military has been integrated into the defense force without major issues. We never wanted war, Kim said. We just needed to be strong enough to ensure peace on our terms. Choi looked thoughtful. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if the consortium had chosen to fight? They were never going to fight, Kim replied. Their power was based on the fear of their strength, not its actual use. Once we showed greater strength, their power crumbled. Park Han joined them on the balcony, having escaped from the formal reception inside. Was it worth it? Park asked quietly. All those years of preparation, the resources we could have used to improve life on Earth instead of building warships? Kim looked out at the city, where alien visitors now walked freely among humans. In the sky above, ships from a dozen worlds moved through Earth's atmosphere. Look around you, Kim said. For the first time since we learned we weren't alone in the universe, we're truly free. Not because we destroyed our oppressors, but because we finally made them respect us. He paused. And fear us just a little. Park smiled. 900,000 ships tends to make an impression. It wasn't the ships that frightened them, Kim corrected. It was what the ships represented. That humans would spend 50 years building in secret rather than accept subjugation. That kind of determination terrifies them more than any weapon. Lee Hyun approached, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the former consortium worlds. The Zalari representative wants to speak with you privately, Admiral. I think they may be reconsidering their position on joining the alliance. Kim nodded, unsurprised. The holdouts are realizing that the old order is gone for good. As Kim prepared to return to his duties, he took one last look at the city. Seoul had been rebuilding itself for centuries, after wars and disasters and hardship. Now it was the capital of a new galactic order. Yoon-ji joined the group, bringing data, tablets with the latest reports. Earth's technology is advancing rapidly now that the restrictions are gone, she said. Our scientists are already improving on consortium designs, and our trade agreements are bringing prosperity to worlds that were exploited for centuries. This is just the beginning, Kim said. In a generation, the galaxy will be unrecognizable. Throughout the stars, the story of Earth's rise had already become legend. Not a single shot had been fired, not a single life lost. The humans had conquered, through the mere possibility of violence, through patience and determination. And the galaxy, once silent out of fear of humanity's fleet, was now filled with the sounds of cooperation and progress. Later that night, the leaders of the revolution gathered in a small meeting room, away from the public celebrations. Kim, Park, Choi, Lee, Yoon, and Yang Dai, the diplomat who had delivered Earth's message across consortium space. It has been exactly 1 year since we revealed our fleet, Kim said, raising a glass. 1 year since we changed the course of galactic history. To Earth, Park said, raising his own glass. To the Alliance, added Choi. Kim smiled at his friends and colleagues, the people who had worked in secret for decades to bring this day about. To freedom, he said simply, and to the power of patience. Across the galaxy, on thousands of worlds, beings of countless forms looked up at the stars with new hope. The age of the consortium was over. The human revolution had succeeded without bloodshed. A new era had begun. And if some species still regarded humans with a touch of fear, perhaps that was not entirely a bad thing. After all, humans had proven just how patient and determined they could be when pushed too far. 900,000 ships had been enough to make the point. Now they served as guardians of the peace, ensuring that no species would ever again dominate another through fear alone. The galaxy remained silent, but now it was a silence of respect rather than fear.